Hey, what's going on? In this video, I'm going to walk you through a step by step how you can set up lawn care businesses. Now, right now, it's March, so I just look that snow. Yeah, that's not cool at all. It's freezing out here in the northeast. Don't ever lie in the northeast America. It's okay. Oh, like 9 months out of the year just sucks. It's absolutely terrible, but it's barred right now, which means that you want to start picking up this one. Care customers, this is when you want to start this, and I actually dragged out all the equipment here, so just to show you that this is all you need to get started. Okay, and this is like the biggest misconceptions that people have then thinking about storing some type of the loan care businesses where they can make $500 a week, thousands misconceptions that they have in that like we think that they need to buy this $500 nosewears mowers, $10,000 mowers, fancy equipment, tailors, all kinds of the different expensive equipment. When in reality, these mowers right here, you can pick up for maybe $100 off Craigslist. That trimmer you can pick up for the $1,500 at the most, and that you just need the gas can. That's all you need. You might want to the vehicle. It's probably gonna help you a lot, but I have literally seen people do this same exact tactic. I don't want to show you using the sedan. Do they use the Ford Focus? And it works perfectly fine. Okay, so let's just jump right into this video. This is not going to be one of those videos where I show you how to like make money sitting in your basements doing nothing. You're drinking soda or whatever. Like, this is going to require a lot of the hard work, and you need to keep that in mind, because if you are looking for the lazy tactics to make money, that's not that. In this video is going to be I love those strategies for the making money without doing anything. I've made a few videos on those different ideas, and what's not, but this video is going to require a lot more hard work, and you're probably breaking the sweat when you do this. So let's jump into it is me a lot easier to show this you on my computer, where I can feel my fingers and my toes. So let's go right. So for this example, I'm just going to use the United States. Let's just pick random places. Look at this green grass. There's right, you get them all of this crap. All right, so let's just go down to the Orlando, for example, here, and let's just do something random places. All right, so Orlando is the great place to do this, because there's so many of these vacations homes. People aren't always around, but you don't have to live in the Orlando to do this. I live in the Pennsylvania. It works great with this. So as long as there's the place nearby, you like a town or some type of the city, small city that has these small residential yards, this is going to be the great options for you. So let's just go into this development here. Okay, so essentially what you are going to do is you are going to want to move as many of these little loans as you possibly can. And the reasons why you are going for these little loans, this is for a couple of reasons. First of all, you can bank out of this things is about 30 minutes, so you do about two of these in the hour, because they are very small. You can use this to push mower, and that's the whole point of this video. I wanted to show you how you can do this with very little investments. You don't have to have all this special fancy equipment. So let me show you how you're actually going to get all of these ones secure customers. But first, let's actually go through some of the equipments that you're going to probably want in order to actually do this. And you're going to see that it's really not too expensive for this equipment to get started. With this, you will be able to pay off to pay it off within a week. So the first things you want to do is to go with one of these just basic movers, like you can go to the lowers, and you wanted to get one of that's self propelled, so it's going to be the what easier to work with. It's going to be very simple. You just walk around it. It basically drives itself. You just have to steer it a little bit. Now this is going to be $270. Sounds like a lot at first, but then you realize that this mower is probably in the last 2 to 3 to 5 years at least, so it's going to be the most maybe $90 per year, which you can pay off by moving couple of the loans. All right, so this is going to be the type of the mover that you are gonna want to get. Just a real simple push mover, pretty cheap, and you can pick up one of these of the Craigslist or at yard sale for like 50. If you really don't want to spend this money for the new one, I would suggest going with the new one, because if you're going to use one, you know you're probably going to break down with it a couple times, and you're going to have to fix the engine, and it can get a little bit complicated, and it can get very annoying when you have the full day of the work ahead of you, but then your mower breaks, something breaks, and it just gets really annoying. So that's why I like to get these new movers, and they are too expensive, $270, and you are gonna to pick up one of these trimmers. It doesn't have to be this exact one. Again, you can get this off Craigslist for you $100 from 70 to 50, and you could buy this new as well. I prefer to buy them new, and this is just the basics concept of the what you are gonna to do it right. So you can pick up the both of these pieces of equipment. You are going to pick up two different gas cans, one from the mower, of one from the trimmer, assuming they are going to take two different types of the gas oil. When you have to mix of the oil and whatnot, why not, whatnot, but so that's what you can do for the equipment. Let's go back to how they are actually going to get these ones, so that you can move them. All right, so essentially what you're going to do is you want to get as many loans in here as possible. Okay, and so in order to do this, what you're going to do, you're going to use a few different tactics, but let's take a look at this for the second. All right, so let's say that you can move two of them in an hour. All right, hold on. Let's zoom out here. So let's say you can now two of these properties in the hour. Okay, so all you really have to do is loan about 10 of these ones in this entire area. You are charged 35 per loan. Now that is going to the rate in the many areas for the loan. This size in the Orlando, I'm gonna assume it's probably about the same. I don't think price would go over than 35, maybe 30, and you can charge even less if you really want to. If you're really desperate for getting some of these ones, you can charge 25, and that might sound like the man. And 25, that's not a lot of the money, but then when you consider the fact that you can go boom boom moon all three of these ones within an hour, three of them an hour, maybe be conversative and say you can do two of them in an hour, and you get $25 per one. Your most of the money coming in this gonna be profit. It's probably gonna be about 10% of your total incomes is actually gonna be going towards your gas and your equipment costs, but you are gonna to be pretty low. The gas on it's gonna be very low because your movements not gonna take up too much gas oil, but so it's we're gonna to do, you're gonna charge between 25 to $35 per loan. I would charge 35, but if you're really desperate, I know for myself when I first started this, I charged 25 for a loan line customers, and then over the years you can sort of the rise you know, $5 every year or so, and you can so of the rise the price of the customer, and if they are not willing to pay it, they can drop you, and you can just pick up different customers who are willing to pay that higher prices. So you want to get all of these customers, but let me show you how you can actually land these customers. So the first things that you can do to get into the neighborhoods is to use Craigslist for the marketing, and this is one of the best ways for the free advertising. Usually, what I find is that's up in the Pennsylvania, and the gas really starts to grow a lot more once we get into the May, for example, and then the people start saying, "Oh man, my loans came pretty long. I got hire someone that do they go they wanted Craigslist because that's the great place to find the local services, and you can post tons of the ads on the Craigslist. You can get multiple devices posting different ads, and the ad would be pretty simple that you want to post. Just something very simple, affordable loans care or dependable loan care. Maybe you can actually even start your own business with this, like get the legal businesses license. That's probably the best move to make. You might want to consider getting the in insured. If you don't get insured, you have to be aware that if you are moving, for example, and a rock files up and breaks these windows, you're going to be responsible for that. So you want to be careful with that, but Craigslist marketing is the great way to do this, but there's a couple of the other methods you can do this as well. So one of my favorite ways to do this is by the actually leaving flyers at people's houses. Okay, and so you want to really pay attention here, because this is important, because you don't want to miss the few things that I'm going to be saying in here. If you just take the places, you could end up in a lot of the trouble. But essentially what you're going to do, and this is what I did. I printed out hundreds of the flyers when I was in high school. I would print out hundreds of the flyers and then leave them on the door book of these houses. So here's the couple of the big nonsense here when you are putting flyers out of this. Of all, you need to understand your local ordinance. You need to understand the city ordinance, state laws, and that's going to within your region, because in some places you're not legally allowed to leave flyers, and you're not allowed to solicit door to door. Like this is definitely read up on the before you do anything, before you even consider putting out flyers for your own care businesses. But I really do like my flyers. Actually, we used to print this off in my high school library, so I didn't have to pay for the printing. But what you're going to do is you're going to leave them on the door hope. Don't leave it on the mailbox, and never touch the mailbox. Don't touch anything even remotely closer to the mailbox, because this is the crime, to put flyers in the mailbox, on the mailbox, touching the mailbox, a mailbox post anything near a mailbox, and just don't get near it. Don't touch it, because that's the crime. That's federal property or something, I don't know, but just don't get near in the mailbox. You want to put in the door box. Um, And another big no-no for this is knocking over the door. Do not knock on the door. Do not talk to the people unless they actually come out and ask you what you are doing. Don't actively seek to the talk to people, because there is gonna a lot of the times where people just don't want to be bothered with this, and you have to understand that if you are in your house and somebody comes knocking to your door saying, hey, I can now move your loans, this is that, is gonna be annoying, and you don't want to be somebody who is annoying. People getting in the fights, somebody could get very angry, and you for doing this, but it's not gonna hurt anybody if you just leave the flyer on their door knock, or the retail right outside of their houses. And then if they want to take your app on this offers or for loan care, then they can certainly do what that, but this is the best method that I found for actually doing this. And you all have to do is here look at this. Okay, so here's the thousands of the houses here. Okay, so and do some hard Craigslist marketing in the case you can get multiple devices. Don't go in with that. You have the flyers, assuming that you are allowed to do that in your specific area. You leave flyers on the door knob for the houses. You just get paper flyers. Then you can print out your computer. I will leave the template that I sort of use that I created when I was in a high school. When I was a freshman in the high school, I made this very simple flyer, and I will leave a link that's down below. It's just the Word document that you can open up and sort of modify, and it's very simple, very very much to the point. And the big key that you're gonna want to do is to sort of the mass products. This so people see the price on the flyer that I really noticed with some testing with this. I noticed that when you just leave the flyer that says affordable loan care, this and that whatever moving and trimming people aren't going to really take you up on the offer as much as if you leave the fly on it says $35 loan care. And it's very straightforward. They know exactly what they are going to get when they call you. They know what the price is, because people get a little sketch down from that when they think, okay, here's the loan care, how much it gonna cost, and they call and end up to being to a ridiculous amount, and they get pressured into the sales. So you want to have this actual price on the flyers, and that's why I love this little communities here, because you can say that each houses here is pretty much equivalent, so you charge $35 per loan, very straightforward. And then what you are going to do is you can either collect cash, or you can do check, assuming that the customer is somebody who you can trust. Usually I don't do check right away. I want to make sure that I can establish relationships with the customer before I started accepting checks. But it probably won't hurt to accept checks. I couldn't considering that whether they leave life, not that that I mean what I mean, not that you would do anything, but you there's there's a life you move their loans. So probably most people don't want to screw over the guy who mows their loans. That's probably just not the good idea to do. That's so another thing that I noticed is that social media marketing, while it's great from the companies that are the worldwide, for businesses that are the nationwide or can ship to the multiple states for the products, I realized that small businesses, small services businesses like lawn care, social media marketing is really going to be difficult to be effective in your local community, and that's for the couple reasons. But imagine if you had, Bob's Loans Care Instagram page. Nobody really cares about that, and also is can be difficult to get into the regional areas very close, and advertisements rates before that will be much higher as well. So social media marketing not always the best case for these local services businesses like lawn care, but as I was saying, so we get $35 per loan here, 10 loans, that's 350 dollars. You can mow now 2 loans in an hour. That's fine, 5 hours of the work. But you know what? Let's just take an extra hours, just because lunch break, whatever you want to do in the extra hour, 6 hours, $350. Now about 10% of that amount is going to go towards to your expenses. So you're probably going to spend about the 30 some dollars on the quick and the gas oil. That's you're going to pay for this, but your total profit is going to be over $300 in the single day. Okay, now this is definitely going to require a lot of the hard work. That is 5 or 6 hours of the hard work. It's not going to be fun necessarily, although I actually do find that somewhat enjoy moving lawns. It's something to do. You get outdoors, you get some sun and a break, sweat, which is kind of the, I don't know, maybe I'm weird or something, but I actually kind of enjoy it. When it's only 5 or 6 hours long, you walk away $300, and here's the best part about this. Now you could literally do this every single day. Okay, now what would kind of the suck? But imagine if you do this 5 days a week, so full time in Orlando, $350. Take away some expenses, you're making $300 per day. Fine. Days and weeks, you get the weekends off, right? And so 5 days you are going to be working an average around 30 hours a week going. This is going to make about 1500 a week. Okay, 1,500 weeks time for 52 weeks. That's going to be over $75,000 in the profit for the moving loans. Okay, this is kind of the ridiculous that some people look down on the people who move the loans. They sort of the thinking it's like the peasant work. I think that's too blue collar for me. I want to work in the cubicle, and that's great, but this is definitely a way that you can make the money, and is straight up the cash in your hands. Very straightforward. That's what I loved about this business model. It's just straightforward. They like you can go wrong with the businesses like the lawn care. People try to reinvest the wheel all the time. They think I'm going to start the next big drop shipping businesses, or I'm going to create the Docker biscuits or something, but this is the very serious, very legitimate way to do this. So another one of my favorite strategies for the gaining loans here, customers all within one area, is to do some type of the multi-levels marketing. Okay, and so essentially what you're going to do, if you're going to say, hey, if you can refer only of your neighborhoods, I will take all $5 per time that I move. Okay, for every customer that you can refer. So what happens is Janet here in his house is okay. That means that if I refer 7 people, I'm gonna get free lawn care. That's what that means, and that's what's the great. For you. Okay, so moving here around is going to take you 30 minutes maybe to move the Janet's loans, but she just referred referred 7 people. Okay, and this is actually going to drive the people love and get into discounts and the free stuffs, and if you tell them you can get the free ones here if you refer 7 other peoples, here's the good chance that they will do something like that, or they will at least tell their neighborhoods that another things that I really found is what meant you are moving somebody wants. A lot of the neighborhoods will walk up to you and be like, "Hey, now, how much do you charge chemo my loans to?" And that's really the best part about this is that a lot of it's through word of mouth, just through your local community. You can really over the years especially you can grow into this one area and you can pick up your 20 or 30 ones within this one area over the years, and that's really the biggest point that I'm making here, that it might be a little bit difficult to get a bunch of those houses first year. Maybe you can get the 10 or the 20 of those houses first year, but after the few years you can really start spreading out, and you can get so many of these houses in this area, one area. So if you have any interesting it's seeming more videos like this, don't forget to drop the like and let me know down below if you would actually like to see more videos regarding loans here, small businesses marketing for the small businesses. I think this is definitely a very doable businesses. This is something that I do the summer every weekend. Usually like Saturday I would go out make $200 or $300 in a single day, and then the rest of the weeks I don't do the whole water. I work on the businesses, but there is something that I do once a week, so just on a single day. You can make $300, and then you can sort of just do it. What way? That's probably my favorite way of doing this. Doing this every day, you're probably gonna get tired, and you're probably gonna get a little bit beat up if you are going to this 7 days a week, even though you might be pulling in a course of $2,000 a week. Doing this, it can certainly be pretty straining on your body. So I would consider doing it maybe 2 or 3 days a week, and you can pull in $500, $600, $700 in a week by doing this. For now 10 or 20 hours our time. So I think that Bob wraps up this video by the questions or the comments. As always, just leave them down below, and I will see you next time. Look at all this snow. This is terrible. Don't ever go to the northern West, guys. This is just not fun. Like the snow sucks. Spring is like the week, and we have all this scrap all over the places. Just don't ever move to the northwest if the people tell you that northwest is great. It's not. It's just not at all. Just please don't move to the northeast. I wanted to move to like the Florida. Just warm when every day it's like the retirement. Every day handing out with old people, it's great.